Do-do.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ba-do-do-do-do.
So we have fought through some early morning audio difficulties, and it still may not be perfect, but hey, we're here, Wayne. How the heck
Hey,
are you?
I'm doing well, my friend, and yourself.
I'm doing great too.
Excellent.
Evidently, my computer audio is not doing that great. We got some kind of a hiccup, but we're okay.
You sound perfect, my friend. You sound good.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So, how's everything in your corner of the world?
Hey, ever more spinning around the globe, right? About to add another year to the charts, so to speak.
That's what they tell us, Wayne. That's what they tell us.
Although I'm not buying it. All right, I'll say it's 2020, but I contend no one knows what the date is.
I'm becoming more and more convinced that it's probably 1020.
Yeah, they have obviously manipulated history, and we know the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar. You know, when man begins to think he's God, he can start rearranging, the whole history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And somebody ran a Q says, wasn't impeachment beautiful? And I have to say, I
there
don't
is no
know
impeachment.
yet because technically he's not been impeached.
No, no. In
Impeachment
fact,
is not complete until charges are sent to the Senate.
that's it. And in fact, the high priestess, and that's what she is, the high
Mhm.
priestess, is violating the Constitution. Yeah, yeah. It's it.
Yeah. And I will point out that technically I'm still right. He hasn't been impeached. I've been
He
saying that
hasn't
for
been
2 years.
impeached. Yeah, yeah. And I think, I listen. I don't. That I read today. There's a good opportunity. It may never get to the Senate.
Yeah, I don't think they do it because it becomes a whole trial. And plus, Mike Huckabee, of all people, is suggesting that because of what's going on, Trump is eligible to run in 2024 and he wants to be in charge of Trump 2024.
It gets real interesting. They
It
say that
does.
Schiff is going to be one of the prosecutors. Well, here's what I know already. If Schiff becomes the prosecutor, he is going to be called as a witness.
But Schiff
So,
is in the House, not the Senate.
well, Schiff has been chosen by the House to prosecute,
Oh God.
and Barney. No, excuse me. Who is Nadler? Nadler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and one other guy. So, I don't think it's ever going to go. It was trumped up to begin.
Yeah.
It was trumped up. All right, great day, great day.
It's going to be the next 4 years are going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, they say we're ever getting closer to something. The Pope says that we live in a post-Christian era, which I think is really interesting because that's a declaration that Christianity is no longer at the pinnacle.
Yeah, I've done all I can to make that come true, Wayne, and I'll continue to do so.
Oh, you're probably on his list.
The post-Christian era is what I want.
I
But
think we're
somebody's
there.
making statements of if the House impeaches, but the Senate doesn't convict, the first term is nullified. He can run for 2 more terms. And why didn't Clinton run again?
Because actually Clinton was convicted. He was
No,
just never removed.
I don't think he was convicted.
I think he was. Check it out. Go to the
But
Oracle.
yeah, I don't think he was convicted. But he didn't. But that was during his second term. Maybe it's like it's got to be during a term where you
Yeah, I don't
aren't
know. I thought
running.
that Clinton was convicted, but I could have been wrong. I mean,
No, the Republican House impeached him, sent it to the Democratic Senate, and they acquitted him.
and that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, if it ever gets to the Democratic Senate.
Well, I
But
mean, the Republican
Senate.
Senate. Yeah.
I think that the Democrats lose the House. As crazy as that sounds, I think they lose the House.
I have some really liberal young friends, and they are pissed. And I asked the one young woman why, and she said, this was our opportunity to prove that Trump was how they believe that Trump is. And she said, they've made a mockery of this. And now she says, we have nothing.
They really don't have anything.
No. And I mean, when your liberal base is now turning on you, realizing that this is a sham, the problem is they're setting precedent for the future. And this ain't good.
No, it's not good.
Ain't good at all. But I
On
contend
February 12th, Clinton was acquitted on both counts as neither reached the necessary 2/3 majority vote of the senators present for conviction and removal from office. On instance 67, which I believe was well, anyway, one of them was 67. On Article 45, 55 voted for acquittal and 50 voted to convict. So he didn't get convicted. He made it. But it's interesting that this was bipartisan because they actually, well, there were Democrats and a number of Republicans that were for it, and a number of Democrats that were for it. But with Trump, it's exactly right down party lines. Except they had two brave Democrats that said no.
Yeah, I think you're going to see. Listen, you can't seriously, with a straight face, look at your constituents and say that you're actually doing this by the book.
No, you can't. And it's just desperation. And you wonder, to me, it seems like it's more than just political desperation. There's something else going on. They know
it's a coup,
that the world as they know it is over. I mean, but why would you do something so desperate if you're the Democrats when you know, I mean, they're crazy people. I don't know if they're, stupid people, but they are sure doing a good impression of it.
I contend there's something higher behind this, but
there's got to be.
Yeah. You don't have this kind of insanity unless there's a purpose for it.
Yeah, and then you wonder what it is because they certainly, and Trump is, again, my dad used to say that I had the ability to fall into a vat of shit and come out smelling like a rose, and Trump seems to have that ability too, President Trump.
Well, Clinton had it, he was called the Teflon Don.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've lost civility. That's what it's becoming down to. It's just,
it is.
So
somebody said to me the other day, Wayne, that life is just a story we tell ourselves.
Ain't that the truth?
And you wonder about that, if it is, because I know that the words that people speak over their lives are very, very powerful. And then the words that other people speak into your lives, if you believe them, like other people telling you, oh, you're just this and you're just that and you're da da da. Well, if you start believing it, is that really what your world becomes?
Well, let's take Janis Joplin. She was voted the most ugliest boy in her senior class.
Oh, wow.
And they used to throw pennies at her, calling her a whore, a slut. And when I think about Janis, I weep for her because here's a woman who had to endure at the most impressionable time all of this negative projection upon her. And she found the outlet by singing. And the night she died, which was really sad, Janis broke up from Chris Christopherson, which broke her heart. I mean, they said that her life after that, but she had a female lover and a male lover who were supposed to have met her that night. Well, one got delayed and the other one just didn't show up. And had she was clean for up to 5 months. She hadn't been using heroin. The heroin that she did use was more pure and she had no resistance. But had she gone down to the front desk, there was a letter there waiting from her male lover, which would have probably saved her life.
So she's committed suicide?
Well, she didn't commit. She just shot up the heroin to get high and it killed her. She overdosed.
She had been clean for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the point was,
so the point there, Wayne, is before you get despondent, make sure you check your email.
Well, she didn't have email, but that would be the good metaphor for the day. Yeah, exactly. Or check your text messages. I don't know.
And it's always fun. You wake up in the morning and you stumble in here because you're not known for getting up typically at 7 a.m. That's me. And I get this text message that says, listen at 55 minutes, you got to hear this. And then the next text message says, oh, they made it private. So somebody is trying to create my world out there, but I'm not going to let them.
No. You can't do that. You can't do that at all. So here's one for you. Chemtrailing, we all see it. In fact, they admit to doing it now.
Wayne, do you think there's a girl out there somewhere named Chemtrail?
Ooh, wouldn't that be a good one, though?
Or maybe even chemtrailing?
I like that. All right, all y'all who are having children, think about that. So, are you ready for this? We know that the two ingredients are barium and aluminum. If you take both of those substances and their atomic abbreviations, barium is Ba, aluminum is Al.
How about that?
You have
and those are what makes sparklers too, by the way.
So you have ball.
How about that? I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
I'm sure it is.
Has nothing to do
has
with
nothing
anything.
to do with anything.
Move along. Nothing to see
It's
here.
nothing to see here. So
that's very interesting,
isn't it? Though.
What's the stuff that Rex is always talking about that starts with a T?
I don't know.
Triglycerol or something like that. I think that's in vaccinations, though, not in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have the periodic chart right up there, but everyone should have one in their office.
I haven't seen the periodic table of the elements since I left high school. I don't think.
Yeah, and this thing was expensive. It ain't cheap.
Wayne, what is the element for crazy?
I don't know.
And ever ready, Tracy Dyer says the word is thimerosal.
There we go.
And it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's one of the few things you see Rex get actually heated about is thimerosal.
Well, I don't know. I was listening to a program on chemotherapy, and I'll tell you, our species, it's just insane.
Yeah. Here's something now, Wayne. John Senecal, and this is worth talking about. And he says the heroin problem is caused by its prohibition. You don't know what you're getting off the black market. Should heroin be legal?
I think all drugs should be legal.
Really?
I think they should be all under federal FDA, but they should be all made legal. It takes all the incentive of the black market out of it. You then have basically you cut off the suppliers because the main source is now the government. It's the same thing with what they're doing with marijuana. Listen, marijuana has been legal in the state of Colorado for nearly 5 years. And I think this January, there will be 23 states that now have it either medical marijuana or general use. And what we're finding now is that the states that have the still illegal is where the cartels and the growers are sending the supply, because in the states that it's legal, there's sometimes a shortage. And
interesting.
The taxpayers of Colorado love the other states around us. They put in over $1.5 billion into our economy.
Really, coming to Colorado to buy marijuana?
Buy pot. Mm-hmm. Yep. $1.5 billion. We thank you.
Interesting.
Yes. Trump is now actually, and listen, it's in the House right now in a bill, and I think we're going to see it going past because the feds are realizing that this is nearly a $1 trillion potential tax windfall for the federal government each year.
To have marijuana legalized nationally.
To legalize it in all 51 states and provinces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well do it.
So you've taken the criminal factor of it now. I mean, what are you going to do?
Heroin being legal scares me, though, for some reason.
Well, but we had cocaine. Listen, all of this was...
Well, cocaine's not legal either.
But I'm talking up until Prohibition.
Up
until Prohibition, when the monopolies, and I contend it was part of the whole Jekyll Island, the Fed thing, when they came in and you had basically alcohol and tobacco. Marijuana was not illegal at that point. And they
don't know enough about it, huh?
Yeah. Musicians, blues singers, actors were always known to smoke pot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, boy, I didn't expect that. But, listen, you take it and you make it legal. You make it a sin tax.
We're being encouraged by Critical Thinker, don't smoke government weed. GMO.
That's a whole different thing. Listen, I know here, the growers here, very strict rules are in place in how they grow it. It's literally in a clean room environment.
Interesting.
Yeah. And back in the day when I would go across the Rio Grande with a couple of kilos, and many times the pot that we got in bricks had a lot of seed content to it, depending on what part of the plant you got.
Was that good or bad?
Well, back then, it was a pain in the ass because no one wanted the seeds. Today, the seeds are more valuable than the pot.
Oh, wow.
They're very coveted, the seeds, because now they got hybrids. Anyway.
Interesting.
So we go.
It's a whole world that I understand nothing about.
Yeah. And I don't know, I remember in the day I had a friend that went to Texas State Prison for 3 years because of a roach.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. 3 years of his life.
That is ridiculous.
They busted his spleen, back in those days, having long hair and smoking pot was a high risk lifestyle, as they would say.
It was.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of cannabis oriented individuals in the chat room, Wayne. That's all I got to say.
Well, listen, we know that the CBDs and this is something I read in this potential legislation, is that they want to expand the medical aspect of it. They want to begin to see what this extractants can really do in the fight against cancer. We know that it has marijuana, the THC, has an effect for glaucoma. So if we could get more medical science and find out, because here's the fact, by the time you're 65, every one of us will have the beginnings of cataracts. Many of you that are over the age of 50 already have it beginning. And, cataract blindness sucks.
Yeah.
And I would much rather take something that's an extractant from a plant than a chemical made up in some big pharmacy crazy lab.
I would too. I do understand the medical marijuana aspects. I'm certainly for that. I still think that habitual recreational use of marijuana can lead you places that aren't for your optimization. I'll leave it there.
Oh, I agree with you. It's the same thing with alcohol. Listen,
yeah,
the youth should not be smoking pot. It's just, and I did. So, it almost sounds like I'm a hypocrite, but longevity gives you a second chance to look back on things.
It does.
For certain human beings, marijuana, the THC, will retard their emotional growth.
You can't say that word, Wayne.
Why? What happened? But it's true. And it's been proven that these people, they never mature past this age when they start indulging. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's drinking alcohol.
Yeah. Same thing with alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son, who was like the biggest weed advocate that's out there, finally realized, dude, I'm hooked on weed and it's not doing me any good. And he's been able to get that cleared up and he's now making great advances. So I mean, it is what it is.
It is. Absolutely. I agree. Someone was talking about mushrooms. I mean, mushrooms are another area that, particularly with people that have imbalances.
In PTSD, it's supposed to be really good for too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
And I don't know anything about mushrooms either, but
Sean Connery was in a movie called Medicine Man. Do you remember that?
I do remember the movie. I don't remember watching it though.
Yeah. And, he was a scientist that basically told the big pharmas, up yourself, but they were funding his research and he was down in the Amazon forest and he found the cure for cancer. But the logging companies came in and burned them out.
Now, Blind Girl Gaming says cannabis keeps me from having seizures and has saved what's left of my vision.
Yes. And in fact, we get a lot of people moving from other states here with their children who are suffering from epilepsy, seizures. What?
And as only Delaney Jones can say, She says the only perk to being the child of a dope dealer was that she learned fractions at 3 years old. I don't understand that. I guess it's sold.
I get it. That's perfect.
How would you know fractions at 3 years old?
Well,
nice to see you, Two Trees. Thank you.
Perfect. I get that. I get that across the board.
So anyway, there you go. I have a guy
great.
coming on the channel tomorrow. His name is Tim Kelly, and he is, I guess he's a shaman. He doesn't like to be called a shaman, but he has these two medicines that he uses. They're out of South or Central America somewhere, and his claim is that he's had several people that were hardcore, speaking of Janis Joplin, heroin addicts, and that a single usage of this medicine, starts with an I can't remember, I think it's called ibogaine or something like that, can get someone off of heroin, and it eliminates the withdrawal as well, because it resets the serotonin uptake inhibitors and other things automatically.
I think that's great. You know, growing up, I never dealt in those. It wasn't something that I never was attracted to it. But I'll say this: once you get that monkey on your back, it's I've seen it, boy. Yeah.
But you know what's amazing, Wayne? He said that even though, you know, people get off of heroin one time, boom, they're free, still 40% go back to it.
I could see that.
That's just crazy. I mean, wow, heroin must be one hell of a drug. It's
a demon. It's a spirit. Demon may not be the right word, but it's a spirit. It's powerful. I see it more now from a spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
That this is for control. I call them you could say that these are the modern day dark ones.
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Think about it.
Absolutely. Now, heroin, you've got to shoot that up, right? That's the only effective.
I think you can snort it now. I think you can smoke it now. Yeah.
Interesting.
That sucks, though. I mean, but I do contend it's these dark entities.
Think how much creative power heroin has stolen from the world just in the last 50 years, 100 years.
It's absconded an energy that I think it's deprived our species. I mean, one of the questions I'm working on a program. Why are humans suppressed? What is holding us back? And I read this actually from a TED conference, watched it, excuse me. And the guy that was talking about this was showing in the fact that if you looked at the human species as a species, we should be, again, so far advanced. But even the scientists realize there's something suppressing us. Maybe it's religion. I don't know. I contend I can't see now at my age where religion really brings anything. Someone said to me, well, religion brings morals. And I said, no, you lack empathy if you think religion brings morals.
And I mean, look at the God of religion. Does he seem like a God with good morals?
I'll share this with you, Jeffrey, and the audience. The one thing I got out of the book of Og.
Sugar's not more addicted than cocaine. Get out of here. I'm sorry. You can't just throw that shit out.
I never saw this, Jeffrey. And all the years of you preaching and all the years of us involved in this, when he said to Moses, the God that insect-sized God that you serve, his only solution is murder.
He's like a cosmic 3-year-old with a gun.
Yeah. He says he commands you not to kill, then he commands you to kill.
Yeah. And if he doesn't like what you're doing, he'll kill you. And at the end of the day, he's going to throw 99% of you in a lake of fire anyway, because killing's not good enough. He wants to torture forever. But remember, Wayne, God is love.
Yeah, that's why I hold that 1 Corinthians up here, because I challenge anybody to show me where this God exists.
Yeah. Not within the pages of the Bible, that's for sure.
It damn sure ain't walking on this planet.
That's for sure. And guess who's coming back tomorrow night, Wayne?
Who?
Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., we're going to have a special Christmas reunion. Jay Campbell back on the channel tomorrow night.
Fantastic.
High energy Jay Campbell.
I love that. Outstanding, my friend.
Yeah, it'll be
outstanding. Well, hello, Jay. Good to see you again.
I don't think Jay's up this early either.
Well,
typically on Sunday. Wayne, you get up really early, bro.
Yes, I do. I wake up every morning at between 3 o'clock and 3:33.
When do you go to bed?
Typically, I go to bed about 10 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah.
So you go to bed at 10 and you get up at like 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, it's
Do you nap
automatic
during the day?
I do take typically a 20-minute power nap.
Yeah, so you're almost a polyphasic sleeper.
Yeah. I need about 20 minutes in the mid-afternoon, and my wife, she'll tell you she's never seen anything. 20 minutes, and it feels like I've slept 6 hours.
Yeah, 20 minutes is the perfect time for a nap. It's exactly what your body needs. I agree 100%.
Yeah. And,
polyphasic sleepers use 20-minute naps. Some people, Wayne, only sleep in 20-minute pieces. It's called the Uberman sleeping method.
Wow. Who was it that who is it that I heard? Is it Bezos, or it's one of the billionaire, or Zuckerberg that's into that right now?
Many of the uber successful are polyphasic sleepers.
Okay.
Many. Da Vinci was one.
Really?
Yep.
I'm going to have to
Thomas
look at
Jefferson. Cautious observer, thank you for the super chat. The God of the Bible is a serpent. Smoking heroin is known as chasing the dragon. Coincidence? Ooh. I like that. Yeah, but heroin doesn't make you suicidal, maniacal, kill everybody, hate everybody, right?
I don't know. Most of the heroin addicts I've often seen are so wasted that, that it just knocks them down,
Wayne, I think you were wearing that jacket the day we met.
I think we were. I was out this morning walking, and I think we were. Yeah. I got to keep the as you know.
Heck yeah, man. You got to keep your girlish figure.
Well, as my wife says, the glutes are looking good.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, sex is never over. That's the way I look at it.
Nope. It's only just till it's not. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I have a person who just finished a book that, and I'm going to get them on, and you might find this interesting as well, is that they have discovered healing through sexual energy.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. It's something that you don't find.
Untapped God source that we are too afraid to use, and we've been programmed against it by 2,000 years of Abrahamic religion.
It's powerful. I mean, I read, like, wow. I mean, we're talking things, folks, that normally would kill most people. Who'd have known?
Who'd have known?
I mean, why is it?
Wayne, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It's true. And no one gets out alive, right?
No one gets out alive. That's for sure.
So, Jeffrey, Space Force is now a reality.
Space Force is official.
Yes. I've got to get one of their insignia patches. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on a hat.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I should put this Space Force patch on the side of my Keep America Great hat.
You should. Absolutely. But so Space Force. We have now truly entered into the age, I guess, of Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek. I mean, this is what will eventually lead to something much bigger.
Jenny Moonstone, Jenny Constantine, found out, much to her chagrin, though, that you can't go to the Armed Services recruiting place and sign up for Space Force. They're only taking internal transfers right now.
Are you serious? Did she really go?
She tried to sign up for Space Force. Can't do it.
Can't do it. Only it's an insiders club then, huh?
It's an insiders club. Yeah.
I bet it is.
And as much as recruiters need young women in, then if she couldn't get into it, nobody can right now.
Well, I just got to say this for the Space Force recruiters. You passed up something that would have been powerful. A
Yeah.
young woman that would have brought something into, yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine Jenny in Basic though?
No.
That would be fun. I'd love to see
Would be,
that.
the DI would definitely come out more enlightened.
I would love to see that.
Speaking of enlightened, I didn't know that Thomas Jefferson and the George Washington, and there were a number of others, they were part of the secret society that was known as the Enlightenment.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I did a whole thing on what the United States Capitol building is.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a temple. And do you know what it was designed after?
Tell me, the one in Rome, the
Temple of Baal.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Interesting stuff.
Thomas Jefferson was apparently a worshiper of the sun god that he called Baal.
Interesting.
I'm going, what? Nancy Pelosi, if you'll start looking at what she's wearing, that's the symbol. She is actually taking, and I feel sorry for the woman. She is way out there, but she takes on the role of the high priestess now.
Do you think Nancy Pelosi really worships anything?
I know the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say that they do worship something. Yeah.
Is she still alive, you think, really?
I Lynn, as a nurse, we know that she's lost all of her upper bone. So her false teeth don't fit anymore. That's why she has problems speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
President Trump, crazy Nancy. She's crazy.
She's crazy. As we used to say, that woman's back crap crazy. I mean, yeah.
But she is so, wow, she seems like she's very Abrahamic. Her God, whoever her God is very, very much like the Abrahamic God. It's a God of wrath and judgment on enemies. It's certainly not a peaceful, it's not a namaste kind of God, whoever she's serving.
Hey, since we're on the political theme, you heard what the two apparently witnesses over in Ukraine, what happened to them on Friday?
No, what happened?
These are Biden's, his son. These were the two that were given the information. They fished him out of the river.
Oh, they're dead, huh?
They're dead.
Imagine that. Do you know what that tells you? There's probably a connection to the Clintons somewhere.
Oh, there's something. Yeah. Fished him out of the river.
That's terrible. Terrible.
And I'm going, well,
it's interesting that Nancy got so mad when that guy suggested that she hated Trump. And she, I pray for the president every day. I bet she does. The PREY. They're calling down curses on him. I'll bet you continuously.
Man. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. In fact, we know, last I heard, 800 or so dedicated witches, warlocks, sorcerers, that are daily invoking curses on Donald Trump.
Wow, that's just nuts. It really
that's a psychic boomerang, folks.
Dude, what about this Schiff character? He looks like he's pretending to be wild-eyed. He's so wild-eyed. There is not, there's more than one person home. You say the lights are on, nobody's home. That place, the lights are on, and that place is full. There's a lot of people home there. They're just fighting to be who's in charge.
I think I think the fire marshal needs to go up there because it's overcrowded.
He has definitely exceeded the occupancy numbers.
It's just, and it's
all but 100% proven that he's a pedo too.
It wouldn't surprise me. You get that vibe from the dude.
He is just weird, man. I just don't understand. If you'd have told me that it was possible for the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee to stand up, or the House Intelligence Committee to stand up in the House and make up a text of a conversation that was untrue and not be censured or not be arrested, I wouldn't have believed it. But that's exactly what Schiff did.
Well, so each one, a congressperson, they swore an oath. So they're like an officer of the court. and they're basically under oath all the time.
Right. Yeah. Google Schiff and the Standard Hotel.
Yeah. And the point that I'm wondering is that, so you've committed perjury. You basically have altered documents. And by the way, under Obama administration, I don't understand why he's not being impeached.
Right.
Every former president can be impeached.
Can they?
Yes, absolutely they can.
So why? I'm just thinking of the legal ramifications. If I was a lawyer and Schiff was my client, and he says he gets charged with lying to Congress, says, "Oh, it was just a parody." Are you allowed to parody as a representative?
He put that into the official record.
Under oath.
Yeah. You can't do this. You can't go back and say, I was just kidding,
And he didn't tell us it was a parody until President Trump released the real transcript.
Well, look at Musk. He was sued because he called the whatever that guy was, the pedo. And that got I forget who it was.
He called somebody a pedophile?
Yeah.
Musk did?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Go check it out. And so it went to court this week. And it got thrown out. So the point that I'm trying to make is that in civil, because he's not in law enforcement, he's a representative of the people. Anyway.
What's the legislative branch?
Yeah. What bothers me is that, again, this is a coup, and no one's upset about it. It's dangerous precedent.
Only people like us are upset about it.
Yeah.
But if I went out on the street right now and stopped 100 people, I don't know if 10 of them would have any idea what's even going on.
I don't think they care.
Although Robert USN Vet, who's in the chat room, and Cynthia, they're a little bit strange. Let's just be honest. They're a little bit strange. They'll go on like Fox News and watch Fox News, and they'll read the comment section on Fox News just when anything's on. And they are both telling me that they're seeing a lot of things now in Fox News comment about reptilians, about, New World Order. So Fox is beginning to be at least some type of a conglomeration of some people that are at least using words that are common in our genre. So it's very, very interesting. Cynthia says she wears her tinfoil hat proudly. And Wayne, all I got to say is you ought to see Cynthia in nothing but a tinfoil hat. Woo! Hubba, hubba, hubba. Ding, ding. That's some paranormal activity for you right there, brother.
Says, baby, boom. Is it cold outside, or are you just happy to see me?
Yep.
Oh, well, all right. I want to shift back. And so I did this thing on the whole thing on Washington, but do you know what happened this year that I wasn't even aware of? Yeah, they did an exhibit going around major cities, and it rested in Washington, D.C. They brought the Arch of Baal.
Oh, yeah.
Erected it on the mall and left it up there for, I don't know, a month or so.
Do you think they use that word erected on purpose?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a phallic symbol.
Yep.
You have to have, an obelisk,
Yep.
I mean, that's all that is, a penis that just stands, anyway. But so I had someone tell me that when it showed up in London, there were a number of empaths, apparently some witches that were there. They actually saw this portal kind of in the spiritual realm opening up. I don't know. You look at this and you go, so what's going on here?
Why would they be bringing it around? It'd be interesting to track the places they brought it to. Every
major city. It was in Times Square.
Okay, so it wasn't just like 7 select cities with portals.
No,
or something like that.
It was a selected group of cities that went around. It's just like in Rome right now. In the Roman Colosseum, they have Moloch.
Oh, it's that. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because anyway, but it does make perfect sense. But do you know where Nero Circus was, Wayne? Where all the people died and the gladiators and the killing the kids and all that?
Where?
Where Vatican City is today. That was Nero Circus.
Oh, really?
Yes. Joe Atwell told me that. I'm thinking in my head, no, that's not true. But I studied it, I researched it, and it's exactly true. The Nero circus was right there. In fact, probably Nero was out on that balcony where Francis does all his homina stuff, doing the thumbs up or thumbs down on those very stones.
How interesting. So the sacrifice of the blood saturated that ground.
And it's still there.
Do you think this Pope is going to resign next year?
No, the only way he's going out is feet first.
That's what I was thinking. The dude is, he's bringing changes.
And he's a Jesuit. He is the first black Pope and white Pope all in one.
Oh, how interesting.
So is he the gray Pope?
I mean, you have to admit, he's sitting in a time.
The gray Pope.
Yeah.
You know what? I was wondering if we could start a petition to get Anthony Hopkins and Jeremy Irons to be the new popes, like in the movie. There's a movie, The Two Popes, coming out. And Jeremy Irons is playing Benedict, and I think Anthony Hopkins is playing Francis, or the other way around. But yeah, I'd like to get those two guys instead of these two guys. I mean, if you're going to have actors, you might as well have good ones.
Might as well have some good ones. Yeah. Yeah. We watched that movie. I might
have it reverse, but anyway, it's coming out on Netflix or something like that.
I'll have to check
and what's up with Netflix, Wayne? They're becoming like a major studio. They got major stars doing movies for them.
The streaming revenue thing is, yeah, but did you read in the Wall Street Journal what they said about Netflix? Maybe the world isn't big enough to be able to keep their growth, but billions are putting in that. Apple, is, I think last I heard, almost $2 billion.
Thank you. Would that be Holka?
I think that is. Apostle.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, this is changing everything. I think the day, all right, this is a good point. So you heard what Apple is now trying to do. They're trying to bypass the wireless carriers.
Yeah, and bring it straight to you.
Yeah. This is a huge change.
A lot of money loss in the telecom industry. But my first blink is they should be allowed to do it if they can. But how are they going to build all that infrastructure, Wayne? Or are they just going to send it from a satellite?
I don't know. Gets you a whole idea of maybe what they're already doing.
Yeah.
I like what that general that I read in defensecom.com. He was talking about the thing on the Space Force, and his comment is that he says, we've got technology no one even knows. He says, a lot of people think that they're just starting from the ground up here. He says, no, they're being handed a legacy.
Interesting. Every time you say Space Force, I hear in my head, Space Ghost.
And why do I see Tim Allen?
I love the Space Ghost. He was so cool. Dude, what is cooler than a ghost in space? That's a good guy saving the universe. Could you imagine? Dude, I wish that of all the superheroes, I love Space Ghost the most.
I love the aspect that sorry, my mind's off in a different direction there. But
remember
anyway.
Space Ghost? He had the all white suit, just the black head.
Yeah, I think didn't he have a symbol or something on his chest, or
the Space Ghost symbol, bro?
Yeah, well, I missed that
one of these. If I ever go to a Halloween party again, I'm going as Space Ghost. That's all I'm saying.
See, I grew up with Commander Cody.
I don't even know who that is, Wayne.
Yeah, Commander Cody was kind of like Buck Rogers, but he had this jetpack on, and he could literally fly. Fighting the bad guys. Yeah, it was in the early 60s. I remember
that. Space Ghost had his own cartoon talk show. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Cartoon character.
What's Papa's talking about here? What in the world? Y'all got to go
sleep. I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Me either.
I have no idea.
Well, I didn't know Space Ghost was so popular. A lot of people are digging Space Ghost.
Look at this. I hear the same thing. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Is that where Art Bell got his thing?
No, I think Space Ghost Coast to Coast was after Coast to Coast.
I don't
know. Maybe not.
That would be an interesting factoid.
That would be an interesting
factoid. Who came first?
Ah, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, man.
Well,
How
Sarah
about that?
Hoffman, she remembers Commander Cody. You know.
I do not remember Commander Cody.
Yeah, you know, it was the dose of the science fiction we had with Buck Rogers, and then you had Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. Faithful Trigger.
Oh, Space Ghost Coast to Coast premiered April 15th, 1994. So
Oh yeah, well that
Coast to
was
Coast was first,
well yeah.
obviously.
I'm
But
gonna have to
still,
look
what
that
a
up.
great idea.
Yeah, Art Bell grew up. Okay, Underdog. I remember Underdog.
Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting against all who plunder. Underdog.
I remember that.
Still Underdog in my time.
Huckleberry Finn, Mighty Mouse.
Oh, Wayne, the secret compartment of my ring I fill with an Underdog super energy pill.
Wow, that's really good, Jeff.
I love me some Underdog.
Fantastic.
I could sing you a Polly Purebred song too if you want me to, but I won't.
They'll get us for copyright,
Flipper. People liked Flipper.
Oh yeah,
Flipper.
yeah. Flipper was great. In fact, the movie Flipper, when it came out, I saw that, and that day that we went and saw that movie was the same day there was an eclipse.
I never saw the Flipper movie.
Oh yeah.
I also
Flipper, Flipper.
I like Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing. I did not see that one.
Yeah, that when my kids were little, there was a commercial called Darkwing Duck, and he was like a dark duck, kind of like a Batman duck, and he was pretty funny.
Did you ever see the movie Howard the Duck?
I did not.
You didn't miss anything, but you ought to see it just for the fact because it's become such a cult classic.
And Robert USN Vet is showing his age when he says that he loves the Jetsons.
Yes, I grew up with the Jetsons and the Flintstones.
Here's George Jetson.
Here's his son Elroy.
Jane, his wife.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for the Cities in the Sky. I mean,
dude, all I need is the thing where the dog walks itself.
Isn't it odd that they actually showed treadmills back in those early days when
funny.
I mean, but those were great cartoons. I mean, Dick Tracy.
I wonder if you had sexual fantasies about sweet Polly Purebred, does that make you one of those people that likes animals? What's that called? Bestiality?
I don't know. Did you hear the guy that got arrested in Walmart for having sex with the stuffed toys?
I'm sorry, Wayne, but just take your Glock 22 out, take it behind Walmart.
I mean, 2
in the chest, 1 in the head, and be done with it.
And in San Francisco, people have lost their freaking minds because apparently they can defecate now in grocery stores.
Yeah, that guy did it I thought it was in Walmart or something, but he was in it, and nobody wants to.
Doesn't anyone?
Drawer Schmel said he wanted to bang Jeannie. He wasn't alone. Let's just say
I think a lot of people did. Hey, listen,
people did.
As a kid, I had a crush on Glinda, the Witch of the North.
Did you really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Wayne, you got issues, bro.
Come on now, Glinda, the Witch of the North, she was,
he wasn't Jeannie hot, man. I mean, Jeannie was like smoking.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the fact that, Glinda was back in the 1930s and Jeannie got the update with the go-go mod look for the 60s.
And Jeannie called you master. Even better.
Yes, she did. And she won't debate it either.
No.
Won't even touch it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't let Jeannie show her navel. That just shows you how different things are now.
Well, it's like with I Love Lucy. I mean, the fact that married couples.
Lucy. What do you think about Lucy?
Oh, she was really, as they know now about Lucy, she was into some strange stuff, but the separate beds.
Lucy was a smoke show, I would have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Leave It to Beaver, Warden,
June,
they were in separate beds.
June was not all that sexually attractive.
You didn't like the pearls?
I wasn't into June too much.
No, she wasn't really but you know what? There's another side that she may have been a real swinger too. You never know.
You never know.
I mean, they had a lot of that stuff going back in the, early 60s. The
Jeannie
cocktail
called you
parties.
master in public and God in the bedroom. Oh, that's funny.
You know, I often find it the term cocktail.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's like,
Scotty
okay.
Boy heard June was a swinger.
I had actually heard that there were some. Yes, I heard some of another person I heard as well that had a pretty loose side. Elizabeth Montgomery.
Oh, speaking about hot,
Yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I wonder if she could do that mouth thing,
I don't know, but
Do you
yeah,
think you could have Jeannie has to do whatever you tell her to, right? Because she's a genie.
I think that's true. But the thing about it was, I only thought you got 3 chances at her.
Oh, that's true.
Well, let me rephrase that.
You get 3 wishes.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess did the major score? I don't know. Didn't they get married?
You could instead of her say, Jeannie, instead of calling me master, I want you to call me daddy. Do you think that would work?
Listen, most women, when they get in the middle of coitus, they're worshiping their God all the time because they say, "Oh God, oh God, oh God."
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they calling the male God, or are they reaching out? It's one of those things I don't understand. Maybe women can tell. Who are you calling? That's what I want. You're invocating something.
Yeah, I wonder what it is. That's very interesting.
Isn't it?
Here's one for you, Wayne. Morticia Adams.
Oh, she was hot.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, that woman. I mean, and her and what was her husband's name? I can see him.
Gomez, wasn't it?
Gomez. Those two, they were kinky, man. I want to tell you what, they were swinging all right.
And if you were getting intimate with Morticia, she's probably going to bite you in the neck, but you probably wouldn't care.
You'd be saying, "Oh God, oh God, oh God."
Then Jason, everybody knows Daisy Duke. I mean, that's just not saying.
Listen, I remember as a kid.
The Catherine Bach, was that her name? The original Daisy Duke or the Jessica Simpson Daisy Duke?
I think I'll take the first one. Wasn't she the dark-haired one?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Something about those Ravenhead women. I don't know.
Daniel Pockris says, "OMG," funny. Mrs. Adams was one sexy woman.
Hey.
And then you had the daughter, the blonde daughter.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Wayne's like, ooh, yeah, I remember her.
Uh-huh.
Lindsay Wagner, Wonder Woman and the Bionic Woman, in the $6 Million Man series. Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, that was always the big debate. Which one?
Mary Ann or Ginger, yeah.
And I said, hell, I'm going to go for Mrs. Howe.
I say, why do you have to pick one or the other? Be a humanitarian. Take them both on.
Well, no one ever picks Mrs. Howe, but she's got the money, huh?
I want to be inclusive.
And you're setting the right example.
I'm not about hate. I'm about love.
No.
Namaste. So I did Mary Ann, Ginger, and Mrs. Howe.
Oh yeah.
Just let love reign. Why do we have to be saying. Why do we have to exclude one another? Talk about some sex magic. Could you imagine that?
What a group thought.
What a group thought. Oh, and then CLC is because I felt bad about Dorothy. I was wondering how old was Dorothy in that? How old was Dorothy when she did? How old wasn't
she? I was thinking she was about 16 or so. I wasn't what she was represented.
She was older than that.
How
old?
Well, she was still going to school.
How old was Judy Garland in Wizard of Oz?
Oh, I think she was in her 30s?
I hope so.
No, probably in her 20s.
Oh, let's see. She did The Wizard of Oz in 1950. She signed with MGM at 13 in 1930. Oh, yeah, so she was well into her 20s. I don't feel bad at all.
Well, see, Wizard of Oz was made in 1933, 36. It was the first cinematic that used color. That was one of the first of it. If you go to Newport Beach, you can actually see where they actually housed many of the small people. Those houses are quite unique when you go on that whole street. It's very interesting.
Oh, what does it say? Greatest on-screen successes with The Wizard of Oz. Trying to figure out how old she was in The Wizard of Oz.
I still liked Glinda. I thought she was hot.
Over Dorothy?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
The Wizard of Oz was in 1939.
1939. Thank you. Okay.
And she was born in 1922, so that makes her 17, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's close right there. That's cutting it close.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a razor edge on that one.
That is it depends on what state you're in.
Depends on what is.
Yeah. That depends upon what your definition of the word is.
Yeah, but
let me say, ladies and gentlemen, in relation to Dorothy, I did not have sex with that woman.
But I love the cigar.
But Wayne, that reminds me of a joke. And since we get political every now and then, we ought to tell a little joke. So this, of course, is make-believe world, but it's just a joke. Don't get mad. So President Nixon, President Reagan, and President Clinton are on a presidential cruise. You know, like Chris Jericho, the great wrestler, now has a Chris Jericho cruise that's coming up with Chris Jericho and Ric Flair and many other wrestling celebrities. You can go to chrisjericho.com and find out about that. But anyway, the President Reagan, President Nixon, and President Clinton were having the same kind of a cruise. And the presidents were in the green room just sitting there sipping some toddies, and the captain comes running in. Oh my gosh, Mr. President, we've got to evacuate. The ship is going down. And President Reagan, of course, says, President Reagan says, let's save the women and children. And then Nixon said, screw the women and children. And then Clinton said, you think we got time?
And Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide.
You know, Joan Rivers told me that he's dead now. He wasn't dead in the cell, but between then and now, he's met his demise.
I'll tell you,
Joan Rivers.
There's another travesty. I mean, we all know what happened.
Oh, poor Joan Rivers. Poor Joan Rivers. What a wonderful soul.
How's she doing?
You know, I've been taking this stuff for about 2 months, this C60 Purple Power. And I don't know what it was, but they say it helps you spiritually and connect and all that stuff. And when I did the Joan Rivers one, it was like she was sitting beside me. It was almost overwhelming. The connection was just huge.
Interesting.
So I don't know. She said she's doing great.
Excellent. We all hope for the same journey.
But you know, the thing that was so sad about that is that Joan wasn't trying to cut the Obamas down. She wasn't being mean. She's like, don't worry about it. Yeah, he's a gay and she's a tranny, but who cares? Why worry about that? She was trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, well,
they killed her.
Yeah, well, it's still one of those things most algorithms will hit you on, that Michelle Obama is actually a guy.
Well, that's what Joan Rivers said. She's a
yeah, you just
Michelle's
go online,
a tranny.
Go online, and you can see the one that where it really brought it out is when they're ushering Michelle out the back door into a waiting vehicle, and as it's walking out, it's got a dick bigger than most white men I've seen. Yeah.
Then of course there's the famous Ellen dancing.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's I would definitely just shake its hand from over
One of
here.
the great memes out there now has, I think, maybe Michelle walking out where you're talking about, where she's adjusting, and it says on the top, the memes has Michelle and it says hung, and then on the bottom it's got Epstein and it says not hung.
Not hung. I mean, that one is just so evident. It's like, come on, folks, let's quit playing the emperor has new clothes.
Yeah,
they're naked as jaybirds.
And it does. I mean, do you think Obama could have got elected if he'd have said, I'm gay and she's a he?
Mm-mm.
You don't think so? Mm-mm. Even the second time?
No, I mean, America is still a bigoted nation in many of its attributes and perceptions.
Yeah, I wonder. If
you would have an uproar in the Bible Belt. Are you kidding me? I mean, that would have just... But as it's turning out, and I know we're about ready to wrap up here, but the Pfizer courts have proven that the Obama administration was actually spying on Americans. Now, whether you want to say Trump was a political opponent, doesn't matter. And now the FISA courts wants to know from the FBI agents who doctored those documents, just what the hell were you doing here?
Obama did to Trump exactly what Nixon did to McGovern.
In essence, yes.
Exactly the same thing.
They just didn't have the FISA courts back then.
Yeah. So it was arguably worse than what Nixon did to McGovern.
Oh, far, far worse.
And Wayne, I've always thought there's got to be something else that was going on, because McGovern was so far down in the polls and Nixon was so pragmatic. I can't believe Nixon authorized Watergate just to get information about the McGovern campaign. There had to be something else that they were going for.
Yeah, I think in some cases, I remember that trial, and that I think they had some dumbasses in there that really screwed it up at whatever they were doing. But yeah,
well, Hillary Clinton was involved in that.
She was.
That's where she got her start. In fact, she was so good she got fired.
Mm-hmm. She was a manipulative, lying individual back then.
I thought you were going to say a really bad word.
I did not.
Tracy Dyer says that Watergate was about pedophilia. Could have well been, because Nixon was pretty renowned to be active in that genre, shall we say. So he was going to get that information that was stored there in the DNC. And why would the DNC have it? That's interesting.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I just know the White House has had more bodies laid. Yeah.
In more ways than one.
More ways than one.
In more ways than one.
Yikes.
I keep asking. Oh, anyway, I'm not going to go down there. But have you heard? And this is my new rabbit trail. We've always thought that the Zapruder film, Zapruder film of Kennedy getting shot. You always think that's just one film. Here it is. But if you look at that thing is chopped up in many, many pieces. So it's been produced. It's not a live shot. It's been produced. And there's non-crazy people out there saying now that it wasn't even the Kennedys in the car and it was all faked.
They're wrong. But, listen.
I don't know, Wayne. I do not know. I'm gonna dive into it.
Yeah, I remember those times. Listen, John was sacrificed as his brother was. And, I really
will
like
get to the bottom of it.
Good. Bobby Kennedy was a good man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been an exciting program.
But that fits right in with the Manson faking. I'm just saying it was all right around the same time. But anyway.
Yeah. It
should be very interesting.
Every day is a day walking in complete awe.
Wayne, knowing what you know about recreational drug use from your past, what are your chances, would you say, in 1 to 10, that Clinton was a coke user in the White House?
Probably so. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely looked coked up.
Many people say the same thing with Obama.
I don't know what shrub was on G.W. Bush.
Obama was I think he was a 2-pack a day smoker, still is.
But yet you've never seen a picture of him with a cigarette.
Oh, no.
The media loves him. If Trump was a smoker, you couldn't see a picture of him without a cigarette.
And it was really odd when they had to take the mosque down from inside the prayer room that they had there when Obamas were there.
Oh, that's just crazy. I really think that before Trump leaves office, he's going to drop the truth that Obama was born in Kenya and he was an illegitimate president.
I still contend he was, but
yeah, absolutely.
Now you're going to get labeled.
Oh, well.
All right.
There we
happy
go,
holidays to you, buddy.
Happy holidays. It'll be past Christmas next time we have.
It'll be up right before the New Year's. One more Sunday into the year.
Wow. So next Sunday will be the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
That's proof that time flies when you're having fun.
It's been fun. I loved it.
How long have we been doing this show now?
Oh, 2.5 years now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's longer than many things on YouTube.
It is.
Yeah.
And we covered the gamut today.
We certainly did. They're either going to love us or hate us.
or both,
or both.
and that's okay.
That's okay. We love them all.
Well,
Yeah.
folks, we appreciate you being here. And we appreciate you being here seeking after truth. He's Wayne Steiger, the R. Wayne Steiger channel. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. What do you got coming up this week, Wayne?
I'm going to be doing a year in review. Tomorrow, I'm doing Sectarium Omega. And that was the document that was leaked out from the Vatican.
Wayne, I just realized that you and I here on the Not Your Normal Sunday show have had a longer relationship than 2 of my 3 marriages.
Well, when it's right, it's just right. That's all I can say. And it's right.
Funny is that. Just a last crazy question. Do you think that book that has the word protocols in it and elders, do you think that's a real book or is it a forgery?
I'll put it this way. I think things are being channeled that were lost in the past.
Yeah.
I contend the Quran, the Bible, all of them were channeled. And I think something's changed. And it's just like the Liber Lilith. Yeah, I mean, that was an eye opener for me. Just and
so many people are judging me in the chat room.
Don't judge the man. You ain't got no right to judge.
Why are you always judging me?
The man, you haven't walked in the man's shoes.
That's right.
I just want to say this. You see, when you die, many of you think you're going to be judged, and you're only going to walk into a room, and you know who's going to be in there? Just you.
That'll be funny. Dude, not many people can say they were married for less than a month.
No, there's not many people that can say that. But ain't love grand.
I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. He's Wayne Steiger of the R. Wayne Steiger channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. And double check and make sure that you are still subscribed.
Yes.
Because mysteriously, people are getting unsubscribed.
I had to go into my ban list, under the tools.
Yeah.
People were telling me that they couldn't comment. They couldn't get access. I'm finding it was over 200 plus people that had been put into the ban box that I never even touched.
Oh, but your moderators can put people in the ban box too.
Well, anyway,
Jessica Rabbit has asked this twice, so I'll answer it. She asked, "What do you think about the Abraham Hicks stuff?" I think it's garbage, terrible. Stay away from it.
I don't recall.
That person that's channeling the guy named Abraham.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That's my take on it. But thanks for being here and thanks for listening, Jessica. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do. I'll use the Apostle Paul. Weigh the spirits.
Weigh the spirits. And
hell, Jeff, this one's weighing too much.
Yeah. Abraham Hicks. I say no.
Well, Delaney Sidelight Jones, I think he may be unblocked, but let's make sure. I
don't know, Wayne. You might want to reblock Delaney. She's crazy, but she's crazy fun. So I'm just kidding. I don't block.
Gotta love that. I mean, I had a guy yesterday, just real quick. I know we're going over.
I'm going to make Delaney a moderator. That's how crazy I am. Boom.
So I was at the customer service desk at the grocery store, and I go shopping, just to let you know, Jeffrey, at like 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. There's no one in there, and it's a good time to go shopping, grocery shopping. And anyway, the guy said, "I've seen you come in a number of times." He says, "You're always smiling." He says, "How do you do that?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, he said, "I lost my home," and he says, "Now I'm having to work here." And he says, "I got to tell you, this is a semi-affluent area." He says, "I've seen more people who genuinely hate. He says, "There's no one here that smiles." And he says, "You're the only one." He says, "How do you do it?"
Very nice.
Anyway.
Very nice. Well, Wayne, Cynthia's leaving.
Hi, Cynthia.
Go to her daughter's house. I want to give her a kiss before she goes. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
All right. Bye-bye, Jeff.
Bye-bye.